Hi, I'm Danny. I am a hairstylist from rural Wyoming, and I am here to just talk about some of the big things going on. I'm not here to argue politics. I don't want to fight about masks. I don't know if the rapture is coming. I don't know. I have a lot of real concerns about a lot of things going on, but right now I just want to talk about COVID-19 and how I believe that we've made a lot of mistakes collectively as a country in our response to the disease, and how we need to start talking about going in a different direction and changing course at this point. Because what we're seeing is the policies that we have all signed on to are just a disaster. And we do have a different take on it. We're hairstylists, we're not scientists, so we're getting stories almost daily of how much devastation a lot of these policies have caused. And I think everybody has a story, has a heartbreaking story of a loved one dying alone, missing a graduation, 100-year birthday party that they weren't able to have. These big life moments that we don't get back. And it really just kind of boils down to us deciding what our priorities are as far as quality of life, and if we do in fact value human life. In our salon, what we've kind of decided to go with in our health policies going forward is that humanity is always going to come first. We will not be making any decisions out of fear or intimidation. We are not into knee-jerk reactions and knee-jerk decision making. I think that's a huge mistake. Our health orders were just extended again by our governor, and that's what we keep getting, 2 weeks at a time, 2 weeks at a time, 2 weeks at a time. To our knowledge, there has been no serious effort to sit down and think about long-term, realistically, how should we be going about handling this. Instead, it has just been very short-sighted ways on handling just COVID-19. And what we know is we are going to have sickness. We're going to have flu season coming up, a lot more sickness, because that's going to always be a reality in our society. And so we won't be throwing out the basic facts that we know about humanity. And to start with, humans need humans. They need human contact, human touch, human interaction. And to just throw that out as unimportant and not keep that an important part of the discussion was a bad idea from the get-go. Social distancing was a bad idea, always. It was always very short-sighted. It didn't factor in that isolation and the harmful risks of isolation are a bad thing. And because the CDC does rely on a lot of models, predictions, that kind of thing, we need to start seeing what the predictions are for suicide rates and substance abuse and domestic abuse and the really negative things that are going to be coming out of this long term, because we have signed on to these very short-sighted policies that basically just ignore everything about human behavior and human needs and human rights and liberties and who we are as Americans. So social distancing needs to stop now. The second thing is that the CDC has made it clear that mental health is not a priority to them. Otherwise, we would be hearing a little bit more about actual risk versus risk on whether or not these lockdowns were a good idea. And since we're not talking about mental health, which is unbelievable that we're not in 2020, we can't, as a salon, we cannot trust that the CDC has our best interests at heart, or that any of these health directives and orders are health-based, because health is spiritual, mental, emotional, behavioral. And so when we have decided to throw out all aspects of health except physical condition, that is a huge mistake. That's something that we won't be doing, and we won't be adhering to any health guidelines that don't factor in all aspects of health. So that's something we've kind of decided in the salon. We will not be participating in a second shutdown. We do consider ourselves essential because we do provide human touch, human contact, human interaction, all fundamental needs for humans to live and grow and to survive and thrive. And so we won't be shutting down again. And we're remaining firm on that. Any brand new health practices that haven't been tried and experimented with in American culture up to this point, that will be left up to the individual, and we are going to honor people's personal freedom in those choices that they want to make about their health. And that does include masks, vaccines, that kind of thing. And so we will always honor people's their choices on those, and we will treat it as a respect issue only. It will not be mandated in our shop. So basically our policy going forward, because we don't have any long-term guidance from our governor or nationally either, our policy going forward will be humanity first. We will always keep in mind human needs, and we will always recognize those. We will always treat humans with respect and dignity. We are getting these heartbreaking stories, loved ones dying, people missing out on life events. We will always put quality of life ahead of anything else in our decision making. So where I grew up in Nebraska, our motto was equality before the law. Our health policies are going to be humanity before the law. So we will always keep humanity first, and that's what we're doing. We're hoping that there are others that feel like us that are willing to speak out or stand with us. But that's what we're going to do. We can't control what the government decides to do. We have been in contact with some of the local decision makers and hope to be in contact with our governor and people that have maybe some power. But at this point, we can't control what they decide to do, but that is how we're going to handle everything going forward. So humans will come first, and human needs. So anyway, that's kind of my soapbox. I'm hoping that we can just kind of get some good conversations going, because we do need to go in a different direction. That's something we feel very strongly about. Humans are important. Human lives are important. Quality of life is important. And so, and none of that is political. That's baseline facts, which is what we need to be sticking to right now.